Hey guys, Desolate Magic here, and you may or may not have known that there's a Duel deck coming out on November 10th. It's going to be called Merfolk vs. Goblins, and unfortunately, got some bad news for you. As has become a pattern, it's pretty much the norm at this point. The entire full deck lists were leaked online early. So thanks a lot of people who leaked it. That's awesome. We actually do know who it is, but I'll get to that later. But if you're not familiar, there are two 60-card decks that come together in a pack, and the MSRP is only $19.99. I mean, that's, like, really good. I mean, if you think about it, the Planeswalker decks are $15, although you get two boosters with it, so MSRP $3.99. Okay, I get it. But the dual decks are just dual decks. But still, with the Planeswalker decks, I mean, you would still have to get out about $30 to play, one pre-made deck and then another pre-made deck that's roughly equivalent in power, sort of, against a friend of yours, if you're not into deck building but you still want to play Magic. So the fact that the dual decks are $10 cheaper, that's pretty cool. And then, I mean, honestly, if you're going to buy a pre-made deck and just use that to play, why would you then need the boosters? So I think this is a pretty cool product. I mean, it's been a little bit, either love or hate or indifferent, mixed reviews from everybody. But, like, as a product, if you're into it, I think it's quite good. The one major complaint I always had about these is some of the cards were standard legal and some of them were not. And you could never tell by the marking because usually they were all marked. I think they might have changed that for, the Eldritch Moon one or whatever it was. I don't know, I just remember Village Bellringer being deeply confusing to everybody. That was like a reprint, but it was from the first Innistrad, and then it wasn't legal in Standard, but people like remembered the card, and it was a mess. We had people trying to play it, basically. So the fact that you couldn't take these decks and just bring one of them to F&M and play Standard with them was kind of dumb, but, like I said, Planeswalker decks, just buy that one instead. Because those are 100% Standard legal, so that's why I really like both products, and I like the state of the pre-made decks right now. So if you're into pre-made decks, I think they're a wonderful product, both of them. And if you're into deck building like me, then, maybe they're not for you. But hey, either way, $20, that ain't bad. Unfortunately, Wizards only prints them in English and Japanese. If you want to know why, so does everybody. Hey, don't ask me. I don't have the answers. I couldn't even speculate. So that's, what they are, but the big news here is that the full deck lists were uploaded to the internet. And of course, there's no putting the genie back in the bottle. They're making their way on social media, and I think Wizards isn't going to try to, be stupid with the Streisand effect almost. Or, well, I mean, it wouldn't even be the Streisand effect. It would be like them trying to put out a forest fire with a water bottle. Once it's out on the internet, it's out on the internet. So they're not, filing takedown notices and, complaints and stuff against websites. So you can find the list pretty darn easily. Now, the people responsible for this leak are a group that has leaked lots of information in the past. I don't know why Wizards hasn't taken action against them. They seem completely indifferent. There's never any consequences, and they know exactly, personal names of who's responsible. I don't understand this. You'd think they'd go after them. The leakers, once again, are a group that goes by the name of Wizards of the Coast. Oh, don't act like you didn't see that coming. First of all, the setup was obvious, and secondly, who leaks the most information from Wizards? Wizards does. So more specifically, it might not have been in-house Wizards. I don't know who manages their French page, but some French page somewhere on French Wizards of the Coast, that's who accidentally released the page too soon. So was it the in-house web people? Was it a third-party web management? Was it a glitch in the CRM system? Was it somebody typing a date incorrectly? Was it, information about when to release it that was relayed incorrectly? Is it the Russian Olympics teams all over again where they forgot to switch to the Julian calendar or whatever and they showed up 2 weeks late? Seriously, that happened. Look it up. It's hilarious. I don't know, but this is the third leak in a row from Wizards, either on their WPN site or on wherever this was. I honestly don't know. Now, here's the thing, though. Okay, leave your vote down below. I'm very curious to see what you guys think. In the comment section, considering that it is October 16th and the release date is November 10th, was this a completely planned, purposeful leak, and I use that term very loosely, or are they just that incompetent for the fourth or fifth or sixth time in a row that just I remember personally? I am so on the fence. I mean, are they that bad at using their own content management system? And I just realized I've been calling it a CRM. It's a CMS. Although their CRM is a disaster too, don't get me wrong. Or is this them trying once again, even though nobody believes it at this point, to, oh, look, a leak. Oh, this wasn't supposed to come out yet. Oh, and then everybody's like, ooh, information we're not supposed to have yet. How naughty. I'm going to share it on social media. Ooh, look at me. I heard about the leak first. I'm such an important person. Like, people are that dumb, so... You know what? I'm going to lean towards that because November 10th is the release date. We should have had the full list within like a week. I mean, probably by next week it should have been, spoiled or whatever you call it when it's not a leak. But then again, Wizards is really, really, really incompetent, especially when it comes to like high-tech stuff like a website with dynamic content. Oh, run away. It's too complicated. Or like some low-balling like foreign contractor. I mean, that could be who it is too. Could have been the localization team too, because, I was lost in translation. Okay, that joke's old. But I mean, is it really worth their time to have a full-time French translator and then like for every other language? Probably not. I think a third party did it and then they just posted it too soon. But you think they'd like get the page translated and then send it back to them, and then still the content management team or the webmaster or whatever would like hold on to it. I mean, we could speculate on how they, run their business all we want, but honestly, who cares? It doesn't matter. So we got the list. So no big deal either way. I could care less which is true, and they both paint Wizards in a bad light. So for $20, what do you get? Well, first I got to start off with something that I know people are going to mention if I don't. It's no surprise if you've been watching my channel long enough that I absolutely despise Merfolk. I really could not stand the deck when it was in Modern like a year ago, and now that they've added to it, not only did the Modern deck get, worse and more obnoxious to play against, but I'm just sick of playing against Merfolk in Standard. One or two people at my F&M has that deck built, and it is so hard to dance around. It's just, oh, my creatures are bigger than yours. Doesn't matter, they're gonna swing out. They're unblockable, they're flying, they're boosted, they got counters. I can't stand playing against them. You can't mix, oh, they're gigantic with, oh, they can't be blocked, and then, oh, also they're hexproof. Like, that's too much stuff. And if I had to pick out my next two just absolute least favorite tribals, goblins and elves. So you may recall the name of this one is Merfolk versus Goblins. Awesome. So what cards are in it? Because, I doubt they're going to, like, rebuild the modern Merfolk deck, because that thing's, like, a lot of money. I mean, you throw an Aether Vial in there, it's worth above the MSRP by itself. I think. Aether Vial hasn't been printed in a while. I don't know. Anyway, they actually have some of my favorite cards of all time in there that I just didn't realize were Merfolk. Whoops. Master of Waves, he's the mythic in there from Theros. One of my all-time top 10 favorite cards ever printed. I won so many matches with this, and it was a very, very roguey deck. I mean, this was not like the Blue Devotion deck. I think it was like mixed color, and this is the deck I was playing when the judge tried to cheat me by lying about the rules. Yeah, the judge. The judge. He tried to misrepresent the rules against me. There's like 9 things wrong with that I'm not even going to get into. Just don't think too hard about it. But anyway, Master of Waves is absolutely awesome. I love him. He's amazing. The problem is he has to go in a Blue Devotion deck, and this like isn't necessarily. But Harbinger of the Tides is there. That's, a double blue. I love him. Absolutely love everything about him. He's pretty darn good. It's not like, oh, he's absolutely amazing. He's just good. He's just really good. And then you got Master of the Pearl Trident. I'm honestly not that familiar with that card. I mean, maybe by name. I could have sworn something in the Modern deck does that. It's just other Merfolk creatures get +1/+1 and have Island Walk. Very, very, very annoying. Then we got Tidebinder Mage. Now keep in mind, Harbinger, Master, and Tidebinder are all double blue. Tidebinder was one of my favorites. I think it was actually in that deck with Master of Waves because it was just so good. I mean, it was like an exile spell, but in blue, but it was color specific. And then honestly, if you don't get it, cool, you got a 2/2 for 2, and it's double devotion. I mean, okay, that's, baseline good enough. So yeah, it's really, really, really good. But keep in mind, there's one Harbinger, one Master, and one Tidebinder. That's what I don't like about these dual decks. I mean, nobody would build a deck like this. I guess it stops what I commonly called name jamming, but other than that, like, go 4 of. Then we got Wake Thrasher. That's a pretty decent card right there. It's kind of weird. Like, it's a roundabout way of saying for everything on the field, it gets a +1 kind of, but then you also have to swing, so it's kind of like raid. It's a bit weird. I think people are going to pull it if they really want to like build this deck into a thing. But if you do, it's like you're so far away from a deck that's good and you're so far away from a deck that's like modern. If you turned it into Blue Devotion, you'd be pretty close. But it's not modern Merfolk. I mean, you don't even get really that many staples, maybe Pearl Trident, and like that's it. So I don't know. I would just leave them as is. Just it's a product, it's pre-made. Just don't mess with it. You could tweak it a little, swap out a card here and there if that's what your, friend wants to do, because, usually you give the deck to your friend or whatever, you go halfsies on it, and then you each got to pay 10. That's, a pretty good deal, honestly. But yeah, I think leaving them as is, maybe take out one or two cards that you can't stand that are clearly underpowered. Yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, Merfolk Sovereigns in there, double blue, that's cool. Other Merfolk get +1/+1, and then tap and target Merfolk is unblockable. Nice way to get one through. It's just I don't think there's anything in this deck that's like, hit trigger, something that you'd really want to get through. I mean, unless you really need to win the game and they got out a line of goblins, which, yeah, they probably did. Oh, wow. Literally the next card is whenever it deals damage to a player, you draw that many cards. Okay, awesome. But it is Island Walk anyway, so I'm sure they got something in here. I didn't read the whole list yet, but it'll turn your opponent's lands into islands or whatever, or at least one of them. You got Tidal Warrior. This is pretty old school. Yeah, there you go. Target land is an island until end of turn. Told you. There's actually two of those, too. Then we got Scroll Thief, which is awesome. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Heck yeah. I really should have read this whole list before I started commenting on it. Oh my gosh, then we got a Stream Bed Aquatex? Is that? Yeah. Target Merfolk gets +1/+1 an Island Walk. Cool. You got to tap it, though. Then target land becomes an island. So very useful, and there's 3 of them. There's your bread and butter right there. And there's some like Scry Reveal hybrids, a little bit of extra conditional draw, that kind of stuff. A lot of Island Walk, whatever. So if you want to look at the full list, go for it. It looks fun to play. I mean, it looks kind of interesting. You're going to annoy the crap out of whoever you're playing against because it's like, oh, can't be blocked, can't be blocked, can't be blocked, can't be blocked, can't be blocked. Oh, and by the way, I got everything on the field, so it's a friggin' 10-10. Now, this is like almost mono blue, and there's 22 creatures, 2 sorceries, and 6 instants. And then Claustrophobia, 2 enchantments. I mean, that's practically a sorcery. It's just like a really good ongoing sorcery. So the spells, I mean, I know creatures are spells, but you know what I mean. The non-creature spells, they're kind of weak, and there's only 10 of them. I mean, there's some good stuff. I mean, I like Claustrophobia. I'd maybe run Increst instead. It's just better. But, it's like, oh, a little conditional, what do you call it? Instant, or, oh, this is kind of a good card, or, oh, that might come in handy, maybe. So playing blue and relying on creatures is kind of dumb, but it's like super, super tribal boost, so it's actually not that bad. And 21 islands are in the land base. There's 24 lands in the deck, which is outrageously high. And there's 1 Blighted Cataract, ooh, and 2 Lonely Sandbars, which are just cycle lands that cost 1, which you're going to need because there's 24 lands. So, yeah. Oh, there's actually, they added this to the end. There's 4 tribal sorceries. I don't know why you would need that. I mean, I know why you need the card. It turns one of your opponent's lands into an island, but I don't know why it has to be a tribal sorcery. I guess they just wanted something to be reprinted, and that's what did that. So overall, I mean, it looks horribly annoying to play against. There's a grand total of like 2 Essence Scatters. That's all you get for counter spells, and that's barely a counter spell. So, I mean, I like Blue Devotion. I like blue, but I really don't like Merfolk. So, I don't know. Hard to say. So next up, we got the Goblin Deck. The Mythic is Warren Instigator. He's double red, 1/1, double strike, and whenever he deals damage to an opponent, you may put a Goblin creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. That is overpowered as can be. Then there's one of my favorite cards, just as far as flavor, Goblin Diplomats. I have a couple of copies of this, of course. It's a 2/1 for 2, and each creature attacks its turn to Fable. And of course, the flavor text is when you need to convey that special kind of message. Pretty much the best flavor text ever written on a card. Then, of course, we got Goblin Rabble Master, the formerly, $20 card, $30 card from Standard when Standard was annoying. I crushed that Goblin deck so much, people were like selling the Rabble Masters for real. And then, of course, we got Goblin Chieftain, because why wouldn't we? It's pretty sweet. And so, Rabble Master, he just read it. He's complicated. He's really good, and he likes goblins. Chieftain, haste, okay, cool, and then other goblins get +1/+1 in haste. That's pretty nice. I mean, if a lot of the goblins have haste, then it's useless, and if they don't, then you need this card to come out for them to be any good. So that's why I don't like haste granters. Now, if the deck doesn't care about time, okay, then it's just nice. They're going old school with Goblin Goon, though. Oh my gosh. It can't attack unless you control more creatures than the defending player. That's reliable. It is a 6/6 for 4, though, which is kind of cool. Same goes for blocking, too, by the way. By the way, Goblin Raise Runners is in here. Ooh, that's a spicy, hot, delicious card. 3/4 for 4. Pay 2, sacrifice a land, put a 1/1 counter on him. At the end of your turn, you may have Goblin Raise Runners deal damage equal to the number of 1/1 counters on it to target player. Automatically without tapping under any condition whether he attacked or not. So, sacrificing a land is annoying, but they did stuff the deck full of 24 lands, which is idiotic. Highest cost I saw was 4 unless one snuck past me. I mean, yeah. So if you had a way to drop counters on him otherwise, hello, or if you really just don't need your lands. Yeah, that's a lot of not able to be prevented damage, sort of. But, once again, everything I named is one of. So at least the decks play differently every time because of that instead of super consistent, which makes the games more interesting, I guess. Replay value real high. And that's the point, is you're not supposed to, really mod these. You're just supposed to play them as is. And, the rest is just, haste, menace, renown, drop in goblin tokens, bring goblins out from your hand, deal direct damage, typical red goblin stuff. So really no surprises here. And I mean, one card is cycling, one card has haste, one card has an ability, one card has battle cry, one card has menace. One card has renown. So that's kind of cool. I like that, because it's a lot to learn. It's not so friendly to newer people. But if you're familiar with all those mechanics, it's pretty cool. It would be pretty cool to play with these. I kid you not, there is a flying goblin in here. Well, it's a group of goblins, but still, it's creature-goblin. And if you thought you could predict the spells, you're probably right. Goblin Grenade and Hordling Outburst. Ooh, big surprise. Then there's a little bit of Ambush, some pretty strong stuff, honestly. It's just cool spells. Very, very typical red and kind of high-powered. So I think they got the blue deck beat on, non-creature spells for sure. Now, the number one surprise by far is Goblin Charbelcher, as in from the deck called Charbelcher, which I believe is a vintage deck. I might be wrong. It might be Legacy. I honestly don't care. But it fits. It's just... this card, when it comes out, wins the game. That's what I'm used to. This is going to deal a couple damage to someone. Oh boy. So that was weird, and the card's not particularly expensive because it was just printed in Eternal Masters, which that set did really well on prices. Not. They did put Blighted Gorge in there, which is dumb, and the only other non-standard land is Forgotten Cave. Ooh, Cycle Land, whatever. Enters tapped. I mean, if you're going to put in 24 lands, put in 4 Forgotten Caves, or just don't. In fact, forget them and run 22 lands. Now that's a Forgotten Cave, and then while you're at it, add 2 more Rabble Masters or something that's actually good. I think despite pretty much everything in the deck costing 4 on down, there's 1/5 cost, whatever. Why run that many lands? And some of the cards in here, I gotta say, they have direct replacements that are just better. They just do more for the same amount of mana, or they do the same thing for less mana. I think they just weren't chosen because of price. I mean, it's you're trying to make a deck, and you're like, let's build a respectable, cool, I guess, Eternal format, Goblins deck. It's probably not modern legal, I don't know. And same goes for Merfolk, but then it's oh, well, if it's, $10 a deck, basically, because it's 20 per pack, you can't really put a $10 card in there, or a $15 card, or multiple, I should say. You could if you wanted. You could put in one killer card, and then everybody's oh, cool, I'm going to sell it off and basically pay for the deck. That's a nice little feature, and I'm not familiar with the prices on any of these, but I think they might have kind of done that, I suspect. But I saw all kinds of EV numbers. Well, it's not even EV. It's exact value. EV. I guess it is EV because it's not expected value. It's the exact value because every card that comes in it. There is 0 variance, 0 randomness. So, I mean, if they put in 50, 60, 70 bucks worth of cards, everybody would just buy them and immediately break them down. That would just be here, have a pack of singles, not here, have, you know, like a product that's supposed to be played together. Everybody would just be like, rip it apart, sell the cards. And if you want to see the prices tank on a card, I mean, put Birds of Paradise in a pre-made deck where you have a 100% chance of pulling one Birds of Paradise. Actually, considering that's like a $7 card, they probably should have put it in one of these, although it's green. Oh, and the decks don't need them because they're practically mono. But still, I mean, if they put in like a fetch land in each, just imagine what that would do to the prices. People would keep buying and opening these until they are not worth opening. And keep in mind, they cost about $11 at a vendor. So, yeah, me as a single seller, I'd be like, back the truck up and I'll grab the forklift that I don't own because my shop's not that big and I'm too poor. Unload the literal pallet of these because, you know, if they put like a windswept heath in here even, I think that's like $14-15 or something. If they put one fetch land in each and I'm paying $11 for both decks, we're going to open those for a while, okay? I am going to buy them and open them until the fetch lands are basically $5. And, you know, I would just assume that some other card could make up the slight difference below 11 and 10. So they basically can't put anything too good in this, but they always push it and make it like, oh, $20 to $30. And those are the numbers I've seen thrown around. So I don't know if they said it was like together or not. I'm certainly not going to take the time to add them up. And of course, as soon as, you know, they do come out, the prices are going to change anyway. So needless to say, if you own any of these cards and they're worth a little bit, get rid of them right now. So I guess this is like the review / intro to Duel Decks / information about the leak all in one video. But hey, I really don't care about Duel Decks, so let's just get the whole shopping list done right off the bat. Overall, am I disappointed in the leak? In reality, I could not care less. But like I said, whether Wizards is trying to be like, oh, it leaked, look at, oh, accident, whoops, and then they're just lying, just straight up lying to us. I mean, technically they haven't commented on it, but the fact that they haven't commented on it kind of implies that it was a leak. I mean, if I don't know. Let's just not even get into that. I'm sick of talking about that aspect of it. But if it was that, or if it was an actual mistake on their part, either way it makes them look bad. So Wizards, stop doing this. Nobody believes you. And if that's illegitimate, then stop accidentally leaking these. Like, get your web team together and tell them, do not release this until this day. Make sure everybody's on the same page. Triple check everything. We cannot have this happening. I mean, it's not that hard. Would I buy the Duel deck? I probably actually will. I've never bought one before in my life, but I did learn to play Magic with some Duel decks, so that was kind of cool. And I just want the alternate art Master of Waves. So if that costs significantly less than the actual like MSRP, cool. What I'm probably going to do is pull the Master of Waves, put it in my trade binder, my collection binder, basically. I'm not going to trade it. And then put the Master of Waves that I already have back in the deck. But me and my friends are all pretty serious Magic players, so it's like, do we want to like waste our time with pre-made decks when we're all very adept at deck building? We'd like to try wacky new ideas and stuff in all different formats. Absolutely we would, because we do crazy crap like that all the time. We've done 100 random commons sealed 30 minutes to build the deck. I mean, you've seen Pack Wars. We do weird stuff all the time. So I could see us doing it just like for the fun of it, but would we like seriously make it our new prized possession that we now own this amazing deck? No. And will I buy them in an attempt to, part them out as it were? Probably not. I'm going to have to look really, really close at the exact prices, but I've never done it before and I don't think that I'm going to start now. So let me know your thoughts on it. Don't forget to vote on which case you think it was about the leaks. And hopefully some of you do pick it up because it's kind of a cool product. So I'll see you guys next video.